about that. My mother also read my diary she read it twice. It was so good. It was gripping. She had to read the sequel, she read the first one, then she had to read the sequel. And it was obviously, there was frying pans flying, and the house was set alight, and all kinds of things. But this is kind of what I imagine happened after she read my diary. This is called Punishment. This is all imprint, by the way. I had this diary. A book with purple pages and gold keys. One day I wrote in lilac pen that my mother was a bitch. And she found it and shook it at me. Shook the light gold keys and purple pages standing in her heels and fur coat. Her hair, processed to black candy floss, was coming loose. Since you are so big, she said, shaking the diary, let me remind you that it is my pussy you came from. She unbuttoned her coat, pressed my head against her thigh, and under her skirt. Crinkle with the lining. This, I thought, was better than what I expected, and better than the sling of her spit as she screamed in my ear. She pressed her head against her thigh and under her skirt, ripping my tights, pushing aside her hot, damp knickers. I closed my eyes and felt my forehead press against the familiar, something like me of looser spores, unexpectedly dry and smelling of damp. Since you are so big, she said, let me remind you. And she told me with her body that I was a child using cuss words I didn't comprehend. Since you are so big, I was hearing the source of her voice, no longer the breathy familiar, but the root of that timbre, the inner tom that hammered me into shape and sounded me out. Jesus, with her ankles in the stirrups. Jesus! As she considered my name. The far-off edges of her voice, now a single sound drying in a kiln. Her heart is dark and clay, its rhythm in the thick vein pressed against my ear. I open my eyes and see the outside light below. I see the inside of her knees through the tunnel of her thighs and hear my head slink against her insides as she grips me for what will be the last time. As she grips me for what will be the last time. Grips me.